Asia. In sports, South Africa through to last 16 after claiming first Women's World Cup win over Italy. Details coming up shortly. Good afternoon and welcome to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. My name is Saviour Robert. We begin this afternoon from the Akwa Ibom State leader, Governor Umo Eno, who has identified terrorism as a viable industry that can stimulate the state's economy if adequately harnessed. The governor therefore indicated the preparedness of his administration to paying premium attention to the developing of the various potentials and rich content of the state's cultural heritage to boost the state's economy. Governor Eno, speaking at Ibom Tropicana while on a tour of the various locations of tourism-related facilities in the state, identified the Akwa Ibom tourism industry as a potential revenue spinner, means of job creation and stimulant to the economy of rural and riverine areas. According to him, Akwa Ibom has a lot of tourist sites that require attention, assuring that the sector is soon going to witness a turnaround as tourism development constitutes a key component of his administration's Arise agenda. And to accomplish the vision, Governor Umo Eno announced plans to set up a tourism committee headed by the Culture and Tourism Commissioner. Meanwhile, interacting with the people at the Akwa Beach Market, where he rounded off his tour, the governor said his greatest satisfaction will be affecting the economic lives of the rural and riverine people whose votes put him in office. Occasions visited during the tour were Center for Arts and Culture, Olusegun Obasanjo Way, the Ibom Unity Museum, and Ibom Tropicana Entertainment Center along Udodama Avenue, Uyo. At Ibom Icon Hotels and Golf Resort, the governor also inspected golf course, the Marina Beach, and the existing memorabilia of the banned slave trade. Addressing Government House correspondents shortly after the tour, the State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Sir Charles Udo, said Governor Eno's administration is passionate about reinvigorating the tourism sector, which is beyond just sightseeing. Hence, the decision of the state government to use the entire state apparatus and tourism practitioners for an assessment tour of the sites. He posited that an average Akwa Ibom man is imbued with cultural identity by way of dressing, dances, etiquette, tales, music, and general way of life, and assured that the dying culture of the people, which is clearly distinct from traditions, will be revived through the Center for Arts and Culture and even exported to boost tourism in the state. Away from that now, member representing Akwa State constituency Prince Akpabio II has moved a motion for the construction of student hostels at Akwa Ibom State University by the Akwa Ibom State government, noting that 13 years after the establishment of Akwa Ibom State University, AXU, no single hostel has been completed to take care of the accommodation needs of the over 8,000 students at both campuses in Obiopa, in Obrawanam local government area, and Ikarapaden in Mparenin local government area. In a motion on notice on the floor of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly at plenary on Tuesday, August 1, the lawmaker noted that though Akwa Ibom State University, established in 2010, is the only state-owned university in Akwa Ibom State, with 8 faculties and 48 academic programs with full accreditation by the National Universities Commission NUC, and offering academic programs up to PhD level, the institution does not have a single hostel facility for its students 13 years after its existence. Going down memory lane, Prince Akpabio noted that in 2010, the Akwa Ibom State government awarded contracts for the construction of hostels in the university with a capacity to accommodate 2,600 students, but regretted that the hostel project remains unrealized as contractors abandoned the project midway. into its construction. He said the situation was urgent as the students now face serious insecurity issues by living off campus, as was the case with the late Abasianyang and Morris Adet, a 400-level computer science student of the university who was dragged out of one of the local lodges along Ubong-Abasi streets in Bareni local government area and allegedly murdered. According to Prince Akpabio, the lack of hostel facilities in both campuses of the Akwa Ibom State University is a clear violation of the National Universities Commission NUC regulations, which requires all universities in Nigeria to accommodate at least 30% of their students' population in campus hostels, and the absence of hostel facilities in AXU constitutes a collective embarrassment for Akwa Ibom State. He further stated that the completion of the abandoned hostel project will go a long way to complementing the Arise agenda of Governor Umo Eno, which embraces educational advancement by ensuring that AXU becomes equipped with ultra-modern hostel facilities, as is the case in other state-owned universities across the country. The House resolved to mandate the state government through the Ministry of Education to immediately undertake the completion of the abandoned hostel projects and invite the Vice-Chancellor to throw more light on why the contract was abandoned and refer the matter to its Committee on Education for further legislative action. On to the Labour protest today. Akwa Ibom State members of the Organised Labour have taken today's scheduled protest to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. Planet News can confirm that key members of the labour force of the state engaged the Speaker of the House, Demotong, on the demands of the varying labour unions in the state and nationally, especially on the policies of government that they believe do not have the interests of the people at heart. Our correspondents are live at the venue of the protest, and we will bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, at the national scene, the Organised Labour kicked off its protest against the alleged anti-people policies of the President Bola Tinubu administration in the Federal Capital Territory FCT Abuja and other states of the Federation, including Lagos, Abia, Plateau, Kaduna, Kano, Rivers, Cross River, Ebonyi, Enugu, Kwara, Ogun, Imo, Ondo and Edo states. In Abuja, members of the Organised Labour with different paraphernalia of the unions this morning gathered at the iconic Unity Fountain for the protest. Some officials of the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and Trade Union Congress TUC from the FCT were spotted at the Unity Fountain with hundreds of their members. Affiliated unions of the NLC and the TUC, including the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers NOPENG, the National Union of Electricity Employees of Nigeria, National Union of Road Transport Workers, and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, also joined the nationwide protest. There was a sizable number of security operatives comprising officers of the Nigeria Police Force and the men of the Department of State Services, DSS, at the Unity Fountain, just as there are security operatives at the different venues of the protests across the state. An NLC President Joe Ajaero told media at the venue that there is nothing stopping the protest, not even an overture from the government. He said that the Organised Labour will not shelve the protests until there is a desired response from the government. From the financial sector, World Bank President Ajay Banga will begin a 3-day visit to Nigeria on Thursday, during which he will meet with President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima, the international lender said in a statement. The visit is referred to as the next step of a global tour that is at the center of a mission to write a new playbook for the 78-year-old institution. As part of these efforts, he is scheduled to visit a World Bank-financed mini-grid power plant that provides solar energy to an entire community, and a women-owned business that has generated more than 1,500 service sector jobs for young Nigerians. In addition, the World Bank will convene discussions with representatives from the private sector and civil society. Banga is arriving after a 2-day visit to Ethiopia and will be joined by his wife Ritu Banga. On the chopper tragedy in Lagos, the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, has said that it has